the fan base and highlighting his team's accomplishments to the chagrin of the people that fired him. Take I built into the news story there.
That's it.
Did New York make a mistake here?
If everyone on their list is already coaching another team, then yeah. I mean, if you made a top 5 list, because you said it, teams fire coaches don't know who they're hiring.
Right.
But they generally have some list or an idea of guys we want to go at. If their guys are all coaching to other teams, then what in the world were you thinking? And I'll say this too, Nick. So far, they've asked for permission for Ime Udoka in Houston, Chris Finch in Minnesota, Jason Kidd in Dallas. I'm only certain that one of those, had they even got permission, was an upgrade over Tibbs, and that's Udoka. Like Finch, and they're all good coaches, but Tibbs is a very good coach.
Yeah.
I don't know that Jason Kidd's an upgrade over Tibbs. I don't know that Chris Finch is an upgrade over Tibbs. I think I know Udoka is, and he has been to a finals, which Tibbs hasn't. But so that is one thing, one element of this. I'll also say this is a little bit off of what you're saying, but if I'm Udoka, I said Jason Kidd, go east, right? Yeah. If he can coach the Knicks, do it instead of coaching the Mavericks. I would not say that to Udoka and Finch. If I think Ime, like I get it, you're in the West, it's the tougher conference, it's a lot more to go through. Man, Houston is set up. You got talent.
Oh, I totally agree.
And you got draft picks. We think if Giannis becomes available, I mean, they'll have as good
People
a shot
don't
as
talk
anybody.
about it a lot. They
might
were the
get
2
Durant
seed this year.
No one,
already.
Right. No one ever mentions
you go. And then even Minnesota, as long if I'm Finch and I know Anthony Edwards loves it here and isn't planning on leaving, then I'm staying with Anthony Edwards, and then maybe they'll get Durant, but they can make some moves.
Can I kick that around a second?
Yeah.
If Minnesota, wouldn't your pitch to Minnesota be this? Western Conference Finals, if you get another year you don't make it to the finals, your head is going to be on the chopping block here.
Oh, so you're saying the Knicks pitch to Chris Finch.
Yeah. Just like looking at how this is going to go out, Chris, just telling you, Ime's got a long runway. What's the 2 seed? Needs to go a little bit further in the playoffs. Jason Kidd, I think, has a decent runway, but who knows if you're trading Luka. Chris Finch, I'd be like, maybe I should get out while the getting's good. That's what I do at parties, This party's okay, but it's going to start going downhill. I'm out of here.
First of all, I think that's a great point. Like, the counter would be, how much job security will you have in New York? Like, we know, you know what I mean? That seat could get hot immediately, especially following a team that just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. And the other side is, in the West, generally, or in some occasions, some situations, they've been more patient with their coaches. And they'll have guys stay a little long. And I think that's a strength. I don't think they react as quickly. Now, LA is different, the Lakers, but some of these smaller markets in the West, they give guys, like Utah, obviously you had Jerry Sloan. They give you, some of them give you a little longer leash.
It's not that Michael Malone needed a long leash. He won a championship. But he was, when he got fired,
10 years?
He was, I think, the 4th longest tenured head coach. There's right now only 4 active coaches that were hired prior to 2020.
That's insane.
So maybe it's 3 actually, because it's Spo, Kerr, one obvious one I'm forgetting, and that might be the full list.
Maybe it was Pop.
No, because Pop is off the list now. But there's at least 3, maybe 4.
That's an argument for this question: was it a mistake to fire Tibbs? I think there's value in continuity. Especially if a guy is good. And I get moving on if you think another guy can really get you over the hump. But there is value in, if Chris, I could see Minnesota keeping Chris Finch for several years because if you know he's a good coach, then if you get beat in the first round one year, you don't fire him because of that. So
can I give? Again, I feel like I'm kind of doing a lot of Knicks devil's advocate PR, which I'm not trying to do, but I don't find this to be cut and dry, so I want to present kind of the other side to a degree. What is the Knicks' goal?
Championship.
Okay. If it's truly championship, not make the first finals we've made in a quarter century. You know,
I think they would be happy.
Yes, but if they are L-Bob, LaBob,
right.
Is it not fair for them, especially, let's say, the Pacers are about to get whacked? I know they won game 1, but if the Pacers get gentlemen swept,
okay,
is it not fair for the Knicks to have looked at it and say, man, it has been 5 years with Tibbs, and we were good, and we did give you a very talented, we all agree, roster, and we weren't that close. And we are okay with rolling the dice that we might take a step backwards because we do not believe we were going to be able to take the step forward.
I hear
with I just think that's, I'm not even arguing it's what I would have done. I'm simply saying if they went into these playoffs, because remember the day he was fired, Wildes, I said they might have just been like, we're firing him at the end of the playoffs, barring a miracle. And they looked at the Celtics series kind of the way I think you look at it, as fluky, and then looked at the Pacers as they whooped us, and they might have been like, and it's not like we lost to the second best team in the league because we lost to the team that's about to get whacked in the conference finals, or in the NBA finals. And so if they looked at it and said, we're not that close.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's one of the reasons why guys are getting fired all the time is because ownership is not putting a premium on coaching to begin with.
What do you mean?
Michael Malone's fired, Vogel's fired, Nick Nurse is fired. All these championship coaches are getting fired. It's not Pete Carroll going to Vegas where all of a sudden like, ooh, we got something. It's not if Tomlin left the Steelers, went to the Panthers, be like, whoa, Panthers, watch out now.
I think the impact of an NFL head coach is so dramatically higher.
That's what I'm saying. So if Red Auerbach was resuscitated and is now coaching, Red Holtzman's back. Yeah. Are they beating the Thunder? Like what are we talking about?
To your point, look, coaching is a lot more collaborative today in the NBA. Like the front office is in some situations and some franchises having a lot of say in who's playing and what the rotation is, because they think, because we know the analytics, we can tell you who should be playing and who should. Tibbs was not going for that. Now, I don't think Leon Rose and, that's not a group that's all like that, but Tibbs wasn't going for that. But I started laughing when you brought up Indiana. The first thing I thought you were going to say is, would they go after Rick Carlisle?
Oh, no,
and I don't think he would take it.
No.
But at this point, who knows? After they lose the fight. Yeah. But I would say this, Nick. If that is their thinking, the scenario you painted, I think that's wrong-headed thinking because it's about matchups. And I'm not saying they would have. I did say I thought they'd be a tougher matchup for OKC because look at Denver. Minnesota owns Denver.
Yeah.
Denver may have beaten OKC if they had been healthy.
Yeah.
So it's all about matchups.
I agree with that. And now I'm finally going to get to use one of my favorite analogies, and Wildes isn't going to be able to say, so you're saying this guy's going to be Patrick Mahomes because it's cross sport. It feels a lot to me like how I felt about the Chiefs being quarterbacked by Alex Smith. Like what I was saying, how the Vikings felt about Darnold. Again, that was only 1 year. For the Chiefs with Alex Smith, it was 5 years. Where it's like, you can't be mad at it. You're double-digit wins. You win the division. And it is a risk to be like, we're moving on from you. You know what I mean? Ford, now they knew who it was for, but he was a college player. They didn't know it was an unknown because we feel like we have reached our ceiling. And so it is hard for me to begrudge, and we are all just saying that this has to be Dolan. It was instructive to me that Tibbs did not include Leon or Wes in his letter.
Yeah.
Because if he thought this is flatly Dolan, and that Leon or
he's
Wes
had a great relationship.
Right, like would have tried to throw their bodies in front of it, there's nothing they could do, then I could have seen one of them being included in the letter. So it's at least
they're pretty tight. I still think they're pretty tough. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Again, I'm just reading tea leaves. My point is he thanked coaches, players, city, fans, and so whatever it is, we are just saying, Dolan doing Dolan things, and I think it's, while risky, reasonable to if this is going to be our roster, if we're not going to be able to get Giannis no matter what, if we're not trading for Durant, do we want to roll the dice at being worse to give us a real chance of being better by changing the head coach?
I argued that the day he was fired, that this could work out, and we've seen it work out before. You just got to get the right guy. Yeah. And I'm not impressed at what is reportedly the coaching search at this point. Not that Kidd and Finch aren't good coaches, but just that, nothing, we haven't heard anything about Michael Malone, and I know I've said he's similar to Tibbs, but he's a great coach. You could bring him in. We haven't heard anything about Jeff Van Gundy, Taylor Jenkins in Memphis, who did a great job. I mentioned Johnny Brown, but there are other guys out there that you could
legend Pat Riley will let him interview Spo. Ever think about that?
Word. I mean, you mentioned a little of it there. He would be. I don't think this is going to continue. I think other players are going to score more, and his average is going to come down. But right now, he's on pace to become the first player ever in the finals to double up, average twice as many points as any other player in the finals. This is just other playoff series. It's only happened 3 times in playoff series, period. And look at the 2 that did it, the 2 best ever, Jordan and LeBron.
And those were all round 1s. By the way.
Cleveland's were.
Yeah, and that was Detroit at the end. That was Detroit round, right? That wasn't the 48 special year, so that's a different.
Yeah, so this would be incredibly impressive, but I don't think it will continue. Wildes, you brought it up earlier, but I had written it down. He's had a bad game in each series.
What did I say?
No, earlier in the show.
Yeah, I said it's proprietary intel.
He was saying he's the only one allowed.
I had it here on my paper before I knew you were going to use that graphic. Go ahead. There you go.
It's a good point you make, but it is proprietary intel. Game 3, the last 2 series, SGA has scored in the teens.
Was bad. Yeah. That 14-point game, 4 for 13, had another 4 for 13 against, I don't even think you mentioned it, against Memphis.
This is yours. You can change
Memphis,
it like a song.
only 15 points, right? Remix. 7 for 22 on the 18-point game. And again, we know Rick Carlisle's strength is defense. He's had a few days to, see what happened in the first 2 games. And like you said yesterday, game 1, even though they got outplayed, you probably didn't make a ton of adjustments, right?
Yeah,
to game 2 because you still won. Now he'll probably make some big adjustments. Look, do you play a little more zone? Do you pack in the paint kind of like OKC does?
What do you just about trap?
And try to stop him?
What about just trap him and play 4-on-3? Because what's happening right now, here are the most points per game in a finals ever. All right, where Shea is right now, we can show it to you, okay? Jordan's unreal. This is right before the first retirement series against Chuck. Rick Barry in a loss. Elgin in a loss. The Shaq performances, which are noteworthy, and Jerry West in a loss. So what you have there is the apex Michael Jordan finals performance. You have Shaq, who there was just nothing to be done with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It did not matter. In one of those series, he shot 39 free throws one game because they tried to foul him every play. There was just, for the young people watching, that era Shaquille O'Neal might be the most dominant force in basketball history. Like, there's nothing to be done about him. I say this with all due respect. And the other ones, the reason I mention in losses is, it was, okay, this guy can score, but we're winning anyway, so we're fine with it. You cannot let Shea match. Again, Jordan played in 5 other finals. He averaged 35.8 once. LeBron averaged 35.8 once.
Shaq.
Those prime Shaq.
He's not. When you're watching these games, I'm like, this guy's like prime Shaq.
I mean, you just can't. And the reason I would imagine no one else did it is because other teams are like, all right, plan A's not working. Get the ball out of his hands and make someone else beat us. I don't know that it will work. I know that you can't let Shea against you look like Shaq against Todd McCulloch. You just can't. It's not like.
Is there an argument? So I'm going to have both side like polar takes. Okay. I'll have the one, stop SGA at all costs. I think that Denver game 3, Jalen had like 32, but they lost. Yeah. But he was in the 30s. And then I will also want to lay claim to the opposite take.
Let him score 50?
Let it go. It's a little bit of like, who's going to guard Joker? And they're like, Alex, I think, was it Caruso guarding Joker?
Yeah.
Like Caruso. Like, he gives up 100 pounds. Like, well, so be it. It's going to be strange for him. I would like to either shut down Shea and have him score in the teens and let someone else beat you, or honestly, like, Shea, do you feel comfortable scoring 60 points right now?
Well, it is noteworthy to your point. Game 1, when he scored 38 and took 30 shots, they lost. Now, you can say they lost because it was buzzer beater, but it was, it was in the margins. You know what I mean? The game's right there. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I would just like to say, trap him when he comes across half court and see what the other guys look like in their first road finals game.
It's very interesting what you brought up, because obviously Carlisle's answer would be like, we just want to win. Yeah. Whether he averages 35 or we shut him down and make somebody else, make the play, we just want to win. And I don't know if at this point they've come to the conclusion, you could argue it from the first 2 games where they've been outplayed most of the time, that, okay, Shea getting 36 is the worst case scenario for us. Or I don't know that they're there yet, because it's 1-1, So if you're there, then obviously you make other guys beat you. But are they there yet? That's what's going to be interesting tonight.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.